Some big news has come from the Chicago Bulls organization as both Zach Lavine and Nikola Vucevic return to action tonight against the Charlotte Hornets. I'm your host, Joey Mercer. This is another episode of Bulls Digest, and before we get into it there today, I just want to say that about 88% of you that watch these videos are not subscribed, so make sure if you aren't already subscribed to the channel, to go down below, hit the subscribe button, turn on that bell for notifications, and you will be notified each and every single time we upload, and you'll be able to stay up to date with your Chicago Bulls with our take on it. So without further ado, let's get to the topic at hand today, and that is back in action. So yeah, we've got two former All-Stars returning to action tonight in the lineup. Vooch we have missed so terribly over the past few games. Drummond has done about as best as he can do. However, it's clear to see that we had nobody off the bench to come in for Andre Drummond, and we really needed some more balance when it came to the center rotation. Now, the article that I'll be citing for this today is from Sportsnet, and obviously piqued my interest because it's been so long since Lavine's played, and I've been wanting Vooch to come back ever since he's been out of the lineup. It said, Bulls Zach Lavine and Nikola Vucevic to return from injury versus the Hornets. So yeah, I mean, big news to come here today. We didn't know when it was going to be for Lavine. We heard maybe Saturday, maybe Friday. We heard it might happen. It wasn't a guarantee. And we didn't really hear much of Vooch returning. Just that it was going to be a game-to-game thing, about a week, whatever it may be. But nothing until right now that it is definite that both of those players are back in the lineup tonight. It started out by seeing this tweet from the Chicago Bulls saying Zach Lavine will make his return to the floor tonight against Charlotte. He told media that he, like Vooch, will also come off the bench and be on a minutes restriction. And that is a sensible thing to do to get them back into things, get them ramped up again. I know Zach had been sent down to practice with the Windy City Bulls and a little bit less contact than he would with the Chicago Bulls of the NBA, of course. And Vooch, I haven't heard as much to do with that, but I know they both stayed in Chicago during a road trip. And now, obviously, they'll be playing the Hornets tonight. Minutes restriction. I really only think that they're going to play probably about 15 minutes, depending how they're feeling, of course. Could be less, could be more. It all depends on how they feel once they get on that court, because you can practice and scrim all you want, but you really don't know the physicality of the other team on any given night with whatever players they have at their repertoire and how they're going to be banging against you down low, or kind of being able to keep up with them on the perimeter. I know Patrick Williams played injured once again last game, and you could really see it again, and it's really having his play struggle and hurting the team because he's out there performing in those minutes and really nowhere near 100%, and it has cost us. I do think that Patrick Williams needs to take some time and really heal, because right now you can see that he isn't his self that we know and has been playing as of late since Lavine's gone down. And it has hurt the team and hurt his stock for sure. Next thing we saw was, in the article, it said Lavine has not played since November 28th and missed 17 games for the Bulls with right foot inflammation. I'm back, man, said Lavine to reporters on Friday. I feel good. Being hurt is never good, and rehab is one of the worst things in the world. But I'm just glad to come out here. And the Bulls have been very good since Lavine's been out of the lineup. That's no secret at all. When he was in the lineup, they were 5-14. Let's hope that with him back in the lineup, they can really turn things around, and Zach can prove us all wrong and show that he can be a winning basketball player on this team and make the right winning plays. I also hope that it doesn't stunt Coby White's growth, as he has been absolutely phenomenal as of late. He had a little bit of a slump there for about half a week, but overall, he has been phenomenal since Lavine's gone down, and I don't want to see things change with that. I still hope to see him in the starting lineup at point guard, and even when Lavine's back to full strength, that is, I definitely see Vooch starting over Drummond. Drummond is an amazing piece off the bench for us to have, and has proven himself as a top 10 backup big in the league with how he's played these past few games. Albeit sometimes he's a bit inefficient, but you have to realize Drummond grabs so many old boards, he's tipping them to himself. If that hits the rim at all or looks like a shot attempt, it is a shot attempt. And that's not a shot that you're saying he shouldn't take, because he's just trying to gather control of the board or tip it in when it's not easy to just grab with two hands or bring down at all. Next thing that we saw was, in Lavine's absence, Coby White has stepped up in a big way. White has averaged 22 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists per game since Lavine went down with his injury. Vooch has been inactive since December 26th after suffering a strained left groin, Originally, head coach Billy Donovan said there was not a timetable on the big man's return on Wednesday, but Vucevic was upgraded to questionable on Thursday and has seemingly cleared his injury with his return. Veteran big man Andre Drummond has slid into the starting lineup for the injured Vucevic, averaging 14 points, 19 rebounds, 2 steals, and a block and a half a game in his 5-game absence. With the minutes restriction to both Lavine and Vucevic, expect both White and Drummond to start once again on Friday. And I think that's perfectly fine. You can see the numbers alone with Drummond. He gets a lot of steals for a big. He's always been that type of player ever since he's been in Detroit and came into this league. He's been better at getting steals than blocks, which is kind of crazy to think, but that's the type of player he is. He gets a lot of touches in down low, in the passing lanes. He's able to strip big men. He really is great at that. That's one of the tools that people don't talk enough about him. And we know he's a phenomenal rebounder. Best in the NBA? Maybe so. I mean, you look at that 5-game stretch, 19 a game. The per 36 numbers translate to near that when he's playing like 13 minutes a game. So you can tell that those numbers weren't wrong. If he's playing time, he's going to put up a lot of rebounds. That's completely accurate. But we didn't see the 14 a game from him. That's very solid production out of him. And although the spacing wasn't as good as it is, or as clean-cut modern basketball as when Vooch is out there, I think the boards were absolutely kept on down low. He is a better rebounder than Vooch. Not that Vooch is bad at it. Vooch is still a very good rebounder, but he isn't as good of an offensive rebounder as Drummond, which is where you get a lot of value off of Drummond off of the bench. Also, good to mention is Coby White. Those numbers are just crazy to me. He's out there playing, putting up 26, 6, and 6. I mean, that's great. I mean, what else would you want out of Coby White? This team, as the trade deadline comes around in about just a month, really only needs to make the changes that absolutely have to happen. I think they're still going to shop Zach Lavine. I don't think that Coby White's going to be moved under any circumstances. I could actually see a world where Caruso gets shopped. However, I don't hope that happens. I hope he can stay with the team, as I really do think the front office is going to be stubborn and really just want to do a retool at most and not a rebuild. Regardless if maybe they should be doing a rebuild, I think that's the route that they're going to go. DeMar DeRozan still playing good as of late. I could still see him shop to a contending team. I think he's kind of been professional, kept it on the down low about wanting to be moved to another team. But I definitely think there are some things behind the scenes there that he could potentially be moved. Probably after Zach Lavine is probably moved once again. I think the deadline for the Bulls is going to be absolutely massive, and they might receive some calls on Andre Drummond. I'm not sure if he's going to be the guy to be moved. I don't think teams are going to be as interested in Vucevic right now because of the way the media portrays him, even though he's a very good, multifaceted big man in this league. I don't think that teams want him as much because they say, oh, he can't protect the rim, oh, he can't do this, oh, he's so good offensively. The game is not just all about defense. You're not going to get every player in this league to be amazing on offense and defense. That separates superstars from great players, from role players, and so on and so forth. You have to understand that it is about scoring buckets at the end of the day. So if you have a player that's out there scoring 20 a game and not playing defense, you need somebody out there as well to play defense to back up for him. And that's how you get into team defensive stats, and bad defensive players become average and become playable on that end of the floor. And that's where Vooch could really help a contender or another team just a step away if they were to look to move him. But once again, I really do think the players that will be moved are Drummond, maybe Javon Carter, depending on what value they can get in return for him, and Zach Lavine, of course, along with DeMar DeRozan. Those would be the 4 guys that I think would be moved. Once again, it's all dependent on how things work out. I think Lavine is still at the top of that list, but that is what we're going to have to see now when the trade deadline comes around on February 8th. This has been your host, Joey Mercer. I hope you enjoyed the episode there today. Gone on a little bit of a rant there for a bit, but a few things to talk about for sure, as this kind of changes a lot for the Chicago Bulls in the coming future. I hope if you did enjoy it that you go down below, hit the like button, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that bell for notifications, and I'll see you all in the next one.